go, baby!
Welcome to Movie to Beer, everybody. This is Dan Kopersky bringing us in, and we have our two awesome co-hosts with us tonight.
You got Blake, your space expert.
This is Randall, a Spaceball enthusiast.
That's fair.
Okay,
I was expecting you to say the ball expert, but
the ball expert, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
follow the ball, the bouncing ball.
Exactly.
So on this very truncated and short episode of Movie to Beer tonight, we're going to be talking about the movie Spaceballs, which we just watched, which was a Mel Blanc film from the 80s.
Mel Brooks.
Oh, Mel Brooks, I'm sorry. Oh my God. I already failed. Tell us about the movie.
It parodies Star Wars, Star Trek, pretty much anything space and fantasy. Well, some fantasy.
It was cashing in. That's all it was doing.
It was cashing.
Yeah.
Spaceballs
Vulcan
movie.
neck pinch. Vulcan neck pinch.
All you have to know is Rick Moranis plays Dark Helmet.
You have the ring, and I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Bill Pullman, everyone's favorite American president, plays Lone Star, and the late John Candy plays
Barf.
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Part man, part dog. He's his own best friend.
He is.
I'm a Mog, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Classic hero's journey.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's very classic.
Nothing new
This
here.
film is very straightforward.
I will say there's a lot of jokes in here that this is how long it's been since I've seen this movie. I caught a lot more jokes now than the first time I watched it. There was just a lot of little subtle jokes in there.
There's
If
a
you're
lot of
like,
subtlety.
if you're a little young, you might not catch them.
Yeah.
But being a little older now, I got them
You got him.
in my brain.
You're there. So this was kind of a spur of the moment thing for us. We were just like, hey, let's watch Spaceballs. And we're like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. We are,
Let's pound an episode.
let's pound an episode out because we,
Like a delicious can of Perrier.
Perrier.
This
which
episode
is
brought to you by Perrier.
salt-free Perrier.
Salt-free.
Low sodium.
Low sodium. And it said that on the can when you opened it
really?
up. It was
Yeah,
it
it
was
did.
amusing. It was
forgot
very
about
amusing.
that.
Yeah. So basically this is a parody of a parody. And on
Yeah.
top of that, its humor is a little adult. It's PG, which is weird because there's a lot of foul language in it that's not
This
really
is PG?
Yeah,
It's PG.
that's what it said on the
No
thing.
way.
Yes, that's what it said. I'll have to look to see when Gremlins and
Wow. Gremlins was like 84, right?
Which Indiana Jones was it? Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom when
They
they
kicked off
grabbed
the
the heart.
PG-13.
Yeah.
yeah.
So this should have been PG-13 based on
At
the language.
least.
Yeah.
But it
They had the
was
whole
not-
joke based around the word assholes.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
like seriously.
I was thinking,
how did they get away with this?
Okay,
Mel Brooks must have known a guy.
He knows guys. He
Yeah.
knows guys. Yes,
he's
So
untouchable, pretty much.
He is, and so we were hanging out, and as always, we're just grabbing whatever we have in the fridge, and we had a couple of cans
Yeah.
of some interesting beers that went okay with the film. This is a classic. You can pretty much drink whatever you want, but from a filmmaking standpoint, and lots of really good actors that are just having fun with it because they didn't take themselves seriously.
Yeah,
Right. You
enjoyed
can
it.
definitely get a sense of Mel Brooks, like what he grew up on, what he thought was funny, because I feel like there was like several references here to like The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
And like
What a wild! What a
was
wild.
the you said it earlier, the Who's on First?
Yes.
Who was
Yeah,
that?
the
Who were those
who's
people?
on first?
Laurel
Laurel and
Hardy.
Hardy.
Lauren Hardy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's on
Sorry.
first?
Yeah.
I don't know who's on second.
There's a lot of slapstick physical comedy.
That was my virgin alarm. It's programmed to go off before you do.
Dark Helmet gets thrown out around a lot.
I still loved it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
God,
good.
It's still
These
classic.
beers were good. What did we drink? I drank.
I had a dry hopped something. Dan might be able
We
to
had
help me
a
out.
Level Beer. So Level Brewing here in Portland, Oregon, put out 4 fresh hop beers, and I had a few left over in the fridge. We have a fresh hop IPA and a fresh hop Oktoberfest
fresh hop lager
and a fresh hop lager and a fresh hop New England style. The New England style, not so good. It kind of competes with itself because fresh hop beers. Yeah. The whole point is to drink it as fresh as possible because the hop profile is going to start evaporating away and not being present
Yeah.
the longer it sits. So
Literally becoming a stale hop.
basically.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So I enjoyed the Oktoberfest fresh hop from Level. I know you like the lager.
I like the lager. I like the one Randall had the other day. Was that the hazy or is that
It's just a
straight
regular
IPA?
Yeah.
IPA.
It was
That
the
one's
best
pretty
one,
good.
I think.
Fresh hop IPA. It's good because it's the fresh hop just adds to the flavor profile, the aromatics, and then the upfront flavors. And it's going to taste a little bit more vegetal, a little bit, like fresh. It's not going to be like, oh, this is 20-year-old hop pellets that have been sitting there.
I keep forgetting they use pellets.
Yeah, they compress it down, they dry it and compress it, and it becomes mush.
Gross.
Yeah,
Delicious,
totally.
delicious, tasty mush.
So I think our end goal here is just to find whatever it is that makes you comfortable and drink something that's interesting and fun and not too heavy, because none of these beers were very heavy. They're all like below 6% or right around 6%.
And that matches the movie. The stakes are technically high, but it's a Mel Brooks movie, so you never really stress anything.
Yeah.
It's you're there for the jokes.
It's pretty low stakes.
Yeah.
You know, what did he say? It's better to be clever than funny? No.
The saying was, wit is shit, but funny is money.
I love that. I love that. How many times do you think they said shit in this episode?
A lot.
It's got to been like... I
They
was
drop
trying
an
to keep-
F-bomb once.
Really?
It's real subtle, but it's under there. It's towards the end with the self-destruct sequence.
This ship will self-destruct in 20 seconds. This is your last chance to push the cancellation button.
Man,
Yeah.
How did this rating...
It's like really,
How did they get this rating?
there was some really kind of creepy, bad green screen activity, and then some really bad set design. And they totally got, and we were talking about this, like, did they get permission to use the scene from like when the ship is going to self-destruct? I was like, those are scenes from Star Wars, like the little escape pods taking off. I'm like, no, that's straight up Star Wars. They just totally got licensing for that.
It's phenomenal. Apparently, George Lucas was asked permission to make fun of Star Wars, and he loved it.
Of course.
This whole movie, he said he was buckled over cracking up. He thought he was going to die. Good on you, Mel Brooks.
They almost doubled their money on this investment of making this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
Nice
good.
job, yeah.
For a comedy.
For a
Yeah.
movie called Spaceballs.
It got released in 87. So, I mean, if you think of the time frame, there was a lot of, really bad films that happened in the mid to late 80s. And this, I think, just having a really nice comedy.
It's apparently his one of his most expensive movies, if not the most expensive.
Well, yeah, they had to pay for all those Star Wars and Star Trek references.
That
they ripped
and a
off.
lot more green screen than his normal stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. This movie was 2,640 meters long in film.
Ooh.
That's good. That's an interesting fact.
That's almost as long as the ship at the beginning.
Oh, yeah,
It
exactly.
is. That ship
Oh,
is.
man.
It was like they did the full credit roll from Star Wars, and
And
then
then
they did
added
the whole
half a roll.
Half a roll. It was like a 5-minute roll in. I was like, what?
So real quick, boys, favorite joke? Because I love the desert scene with our. He said, "Come to the desert. We're coming to the desert. You find anything? We ain't found shit."
Found anything yet? We ain't found shit.
We ain't found shit. Yes, exactly. There's some interesting desert activity because they land on a desert planet after they rescue the princess, and they go find yogurt.
Just plain yogurt.
That's my joke right there. Just plain yogurt.
That's a good joke.
Because he's like,
Yogurt the great. Yogurt the
great.
wise.
Yogurt the powerful. No, just plain yogurt.
Mine is the desert scene when Barf looks up at the sun and says, "Nice dissolve."
For those that have worked in
Pretty
film or TV, you're like, oh yeah,
Classic.
It dissolves into the sun. Like it's just like a still scene, but it's like, who knows? Maybe it was a photograph or something. They dissolved.
It's super cliche, but they did it
yeah.
really well.
As a fan of comic books, anyone who's a fan of Deadpool's fourth wall breaking, watch anything by Mel Brooks.
He's
He's really good
a lot
at
of
just
wall
looking right at the
breaking in
camera and
this.
saying, "Here's a joke."
Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot in this one too. So, gentlemen, are we going to do the beer name rename game, or are we going to pass?
no,
We're passing.
pass. Short-
You can't
hard
improve
pass.
on
Yeah.
perfection, and Mel
Yeah.
Brooks
Yeah.
is top tier comedy. Drink most anything you want to.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a good film. I mean, it's good. It's not necessarily kid appropriate with the language. There's absolutely no nudity or anything like. There's no violence. There's a little shooting scenes and physical comedy. Other than just the language, I think family appropriate if you're like
With quotations around it.
10 to
Yeah.
12 year, maybe 14-year age range, where they understand what they're hearing. But again, a lot of the references are going to be for older people because they're going to understand that it's like, oh, I saw that in Star Trek and I saw that in Star Wars and I saw that.
Right,
in-"
exactly.
Kids maybe not going to get that.
Old gum commercials, etc.
Yes, it's a double.
I mean, Level Brewing. Thank you for unofficial sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing us some
Excellent.
nice,
It worked really well with the movie.
good fresh hot beers.
Love it.
Thumbs up on the film.
Oh, yeah.
Find a good
Mel
beer for
Brooks.
yourself.
Still
Awesome.
going. Still going.
Can do no wrong. He's still going. He's still alive. So let's knock on some wood for that. He's hopefully going to still be active and making some awesome films. As always, the opinions expressed during the taping of this episode are those of the hosts. And we just want to thank you all for hanging in there and jamming with this short episode that we got going.
Yeah, you got to make sure you hydrate, or you're gonna dihydrate.
Yes.
That was my attempt at a Mel Brooks accent.
Nice job.
Thank you.
So that's it. Let's go out. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Laters.